This won't be the first time. This is not the first time. Won't be the last time. But I always like when I can come on a Monday morning and discuss a complete and utter total fake news media failure. Failure to launch. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. Back this Monday morning. You can get in touch with the show, 706-889-9700. 706-889-9700. Email me at chief@fetchernews.com, at Fetcher News on Twitter, at FYNTV. Don't forget, follow us on Instagram and YouTube. Find our YouTube channel, FYNTV Fetcher News. Subscribe today. Also follow Team FYN Sports on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, Team FYN Sports, because there'll be a lot going on today. A lot of football started, scrimmages this past Friday night, so there's a lot to talk about in the upcoming show after mine, Instant Replay with Dave Garner. Now, this morning at 9:30, we'll have a guest, Debbie Dooley, the Atlanta Tea Party. Debbie Dooley, she has filed an ethics complaint and a legal complaint concerning dark political money in Georgia. You remember the Trump voter guide? Do I have that picture? Let me just see that just for a second. I don't remember if I sent that to you. It says Trump voter guide. You remember the Trump voter guide that came in your mailbox and had Casey Cagle, but had Jeff Duncan checked off under it, Jeff Duncan? Who paid for that? Remember that was right before the election to give the impression that Donald Trump had endorsed those two candidates. Who paid for that? Because I'll tell you what, it did. You may say, well, that's not enough to influence an election. You cannot read all the articles that say Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, endorsement of Brian Kemp didn't send him through the roof and just blast him straight past Casey Cagle. If you read all the news accounts in Republican primaries, we'll get to general election in a minute, but in Republican primaries, a Trump endorsement, a President Donald Trump endorsement is coveted. It's big, okay? And he actually did endorse Brian Kemp. But this flyer went out giving you the impression that that was a Trump voter's guide, a Trump supporter voter guide right there. Who paid for that? Dark money. You see, if you don't look into it now with the Republicans here in Georgia, dark money can paying for all kinds of these things. So it's important now to do this because of the fact Labor Day is really campaign kickoff. Right after Labor Day, you are not going to be able to go to your mailbox. I mean, there's post offices, a little joke, there's post offices all over the state increasing the size of their garbage can to where you go, you know, the place where you go and you clean out your mailbox and you throw it over in the waste can. You will not be able to get out of your home mail, your post box, anywhere, your regular mail, due to these cards coming immediately after Labor Day. It will be nonstop. And who pays for it all? And who has time to refute the possible lies? Who has time to refute the false claims and the money to counter? So we're going to talk to, she will be our guest at 8:30. And Jeff Duncan is the Republican candidate for lieutenant governor. And at 8:30, Debbie Dooley will be our guest. Now, I've asked a couple questions on social media. Do you think that no matter who wins, Amika, or I forget her first name or her first couple names or whatever, but the Democrat Amika running as a Democrat for lieutenant governor, and Jeff Duncan, do you think, this is my question out there to you, do you think, okay, that the Georgia State Republican Senate will strip the lieutenant governor's office of basically all of its powers? That means appointing committee heads and so on. So do you think they will, regardless of Jeff Duncan or Amika? So do you think the power of lieutenant governor will be basically eliminated and that office will be a figurehead with nothing to do but, you know, play solitaire all day? Excuse me, sorry about that. Second, do you think there's down ballot problems with not only lieutenant governor for the GOP in Georgia, but maybe the insurance commissioner? Jim Beck, the media is working hard, and let's just say we'll talk about that office, insurance commissioner, at 9 o'clock, but there may be a problem in that race. And also, do you think it's time for an elected, state-elected school board for Georgia by congressional district and eliminate the the superintendent of schools, the Georgia State Superintendent of Schools, and have that appointed through the Board of Education, through the governor's office, and elect a Board of Education? Do you think it's time to do that? Whatever, just some things going on. So at 8:30, Dark Money, Jeff Duncan, Debbie Dooley wants to know who's behind the Swamp Drainers. Is that what they're named? I forget their name. The Swamp Drainers. Who paid for that? Now, that being said, let's move over to the complete and total failure of the media this weekend. Now, President Trump, we will get into that later in the day. President Trump just had a field day over at Bedminster yesterday, moving the media any way he wanted to. Bikers were over there. Bedminster, New Jersey. Trump's working vacation. He hosted a group of bikers yesterday there. But the media was worked up. Now, I just want to ask this question because I want you to, we're going to work on it at 9 o'clock. Coincidence? Now, I get asked, you know, how fake is the media? How coordinated are the efforts to take down the President of the United States? And do they all work together? I get those questions all the time. But let me ask you a question. You look at the coincidence of Omarosa's book deal. Put up Omarosa and just her picture if you don't mind. Look at the coincidence of Omarosa's book deal, okay? The revelation that she had that Trump's a racist. Okay, she's had this revelation that Trump's a racist after her fame and fortune has come through. So, you know, I better hold on to that. I almost said something I shouldn't. But Omarosa, check out the timing of her book deal. She goes on book tour, starts with MSNBC Chuck Todd, but the timing, she is a black lady here in America, all right? And 1 year Charlottesville anniversary, white supremacist rally in Washington, D.C., Omarosa's book, and she makes all the news this weekend in what the media did. 4 shows yesterday, CBS, even Fox, CBS, Fox, ABC, and NBC on racial divide in this country and where we are at. Are you not thankful that you have these certain people working on our racial divide. The media trucks, the utter failure of the racial divide narrative this weekend with Omarosa leading the way, Rudolph there leading the sleigh. 24 white supremacists. Now, the media was set up in Washington, D.C. yesterday. If only David Duke would have showed. If only. Now, the media put out the narrative all day long, all of them, that David Duke was to appear. That was Saturday, okay, from Louisiana. Then, what if David Duke would have shown? What if 1,000 or 500, just 500? Now, if you notice when you go to rallies, Donald Trump rallies, they do not like to discuss crowd size. Okay, they don't want to tell you 15,000 showed up. They don't want to tell you 10,000 showed up, okay? And they want to call everybody in those rooms white supremacists, right? Yes, hatred, bigotry, misogynist. That's the 3 words she used. But they want to call everybody in that room 15 white supremacists, okay? It's failing. It's failing drastically. And yesterday was a sign of why it's failing, because 15,000 people don't care to come out for Donald Trump. Now, if 500 would have showed up yesterday, just 500,000, 500, they would have went into, these are Donald Trump's supporters. These symbolize the people at the rally. This is the people you see when you go to it. They wanted it so bad. They were ready to do crowd size yesterday. They wanted bloodshed. They did everything they could to get Antifa, anybody they could there, their satellite trucks. They wanted video. They wanted bloodshed. They tried to incite a riot. All of them, they're sick. They did everything they could to incite a riot this weekend in Washington, D.C. But only if 500 would have showed up, but 24 people claiming to be white supremacists showed up. That's it. That's all they had. Okay? 24. Now, if you noticed and watched any of the broadcasts, I switched it. It came on at 4:30, so I would go Fox, CNN, MSNBC, Fox, CNN. I just jumble it up, okay? I go back and forth. Antifa, everyone there was considered peaceful protesters. The anti-hate groups, if I had $1 for every time I heard somebody in the media say anti-hate groups, they are hate. That side of America is pure hate. Okay? 24 people showed up. They could not run the narrative on Sunday morning. They could not this morning. Morning Joe was all set to show you white supremacy in America. Morning Joe was all set, and all of the networks, to show you this morning how Donald Trump has emboldened, empowered, and this group is growing this white hatred across the land. They can't stand the Trump rallies where 10, 15,000 people, okay, show up. Nobody harms anybody. Nobody pushes anybody. If you bump into somebody, you say, excuse me, okay? And the only shouting in the room is that Jim Acosta at CNN saying CNN sucks. That's it. They can't take it. That is one of the biggest failures in the media, all right, trying to run that narrative. They need that for 2018. Now let's go to Omarosa. At what point? Now she tried to explain, I watched the interview, put her up with Chuck Todd. And Chuck Todd is just amazed at what he's hearing. Now, she tried. At what point did she decide Donald Trump was a racist, is a racist? What point did she decide Donald Trump is a racist? When the book deal was made? She wants you to believe, okay, all right, that there is audio of President Trump saying the N-word. And, you know, on a daily basis, the media has that star in their eye that we've got him now, okay? But this weekend was a total failure. I, for one, cannot find anyone that considers this lady, Omarosa, credible. Can't find anyone, okay? I can't find anyone. Put up the picture of John Kelly. Now, she goes in the Situation Room. We're getting around to that right now, okay? She goes in the Situation Room, and she's there with the Chief of Staff, John Kelly, General John Kelly. So whenever you find that, put it up, okay? I think, there you go. And he fires her. Now, what is laughable in this country today is John Kelly handled that exactly like a CEO, exactly like a chief of staff, exactly like the guy in charge. You read books, okay? You read books. You go to seminars as employers. And when it comes that, you know, dreadful time that you regret to, you know, have to do, and you have to let somebody go, you learn to get to the facts, dismiss the person, and not go into a conversation because you have made a decision they're leaving. Now, don't take this wrong. This is not cold-hearted. You have made a decision, okay, that this person is leaving. So Omarosa could lie all she wants, but there was discussions early on with her about some of her actions, okay? Guarantee it, all right? Why do you think she had the recorder on? She knew this was the day, all right? She had been reprimanded several times, I guarantee it, all right? And that's why she snuck a recorder into the Situation Room. She knew this was it, okay? That when John Kelly sat down with you one-on-one, this was it. And anybody out there, you understand that when you fire somebody, again, regrettably, you fire somebody, you're up to the point that you've had the conversations, it's been discussed, the person did not respect chain of command, person did not respect authority, okay? And you've gone in with a firm decision. So when you go to fire somebody, you go firm. You made a decision to separate and part ways. When you do that, you do it clean. You don't get into discussion. You make it very quick. And you leave. Period. Now, America, here is what was said. Omarosa released this. Failure. Dud. Because did you enjoy the look on the media's face yesterday to hear that somebody actually got fired and how it works? Unlike the VA, unlike the IRS, unlike so many people in government, that these people in the Beltway were shocked and their jaw dropped to hear somebody get fired. But you and I did not think twice when we heard General John Kelly. In fact, it ensured to me that things are going well in the White House and Kelly has a handle on things. Every day, the media can't stop stop tripping over their tongue laying out on the ground, because every single day, in some way, shape, or fashion, they want to lead you to believe, okay, that John Kelly's not in charge. They want to lead you to believe that Trump has no respect for John Kelly and just does whatever he wants. But yesterday, Omarosa proves that Kelly's in charge, like a chief of staff should be, that we should feel good of how operations are going. They're not as chaotic. That's the word of the day for them, chaotic. It's not. It's not as chaotic as they want to lead you to believe, okay? But yesterday, just really, I enjoyed seeing her interview. I'm actually glad, although it very much violates security, okay, national security, putting a recording device in the Situation Room. Now, I'm not talking about Beyonce and Jay-Z putting their feet up on the desk in the Situation Room. I'm not talking about Hillary Clinton carrying her phone past into the forbidden hallway section and could care less. Obviously, that's where they learn it there in Washington, D.C. But here's what Kelly says. Here's what John Kelly says. I think it's important to understand that if we make this a friendly departure, we can all be, you can look at your time here in the White House as a year of service to the nation. Now keep in mind, this is the guy that I have come on this show so many times and have talked about serving the nation. Every time they talk about Mattis, every time they talk about John Kelly, okay, every time they talk about these guys, I laugh because they did not get to 4-star generals by not knowing. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I left the volume on my phone. And sorry about that. They did not get to 4-star generals by not understanding who their commander-in-chief is, by not understanding how to take orders, by not understanding how to serve their nation. They thoroughly and completely understand President Donald J. Trump is commander-in-chief, period. And they have a choice to serve the country or leave, and they've chosen to serve the country. And don't think they went into it not knowing what they're getting into, these generals, okay? But the point is, serve a year of service to our nation, and then you can go on without any type, and he went on to say any type of negative whatever. He's trying to tell this lady, you know, this is not a TV show. I'm not Donald Trump. It's not The Apprentice, and I'm not going to say you're fired, and then it says cut, okay, and we go to commercial. That's not happening, all right? I'm telling you, you got to leave. There are some ethical things that have taken place. Your credibility could be at stake. We're not going to say nothing. The lawyers are going to explain to you right now the things that have happened that could happen. Yes, you signed a non-disclosure. Yes, you signed an agreement not to release any information out of this White House. Okay? Not uncommon. But look, she claims she was threatened, all the above. She got fired. So that was a dud. Total dud. Racial divide in the country this weekend with Omarosa leading the way. Okay? And the media's failure on approximately 24, okay, white supremacists. And they did everything yesterday. They were over there saying, we think they're leaving. Now we're going to get over here because there's been some pushing and shoving with Antifa. Now they won't start anything, but they will push back. On and on. Total failure yesterday. Omarosa, okay? Total failure. Couple things before we go to break that we're going to talk about at 9 o'clock. I want to go over with you just briefly. Our guest at 8:30 will be Debbie Dooley. We're going to be talking to her about the ethics complaint that she just filed. Bruce Moore worked for Sally Yates and his lovely wife, Nellie. Trump was on a Twitter rampage this weekend. It was awesome to me. 9 o'clock, we're going to talk about that. Now Chicago, one Chicago Dem wants Trump's help. What's up with Lindsey Graham? Can somebody tell me? I'll be glad to hear from you. What's up with Lindsey Graham? He says this whole thing has been a hoax. This whole charade, whatever he said, I've got that. I've made some notes. What's up with Lindsey Graham? The Russian investigation concerning collusion. The Hillary Clinton side of it has been a total sham. The N-word at The Apprentice. At what day did Omarosa realize this guy is a racist and use the N-word? Was that when she was maybe listening to some rap music? Why don't Republicans... Oh, here's one I want. I'm going to give you this. And we'll talk about it at 9. This will have to bring you back after my interview. The media is looking for their Ross Perot. I'll explain that. Keep clear. The media is looking for their Ross Perot. Okay? And I'll explain that after our interview. Debbie Dooley, dark money. Do you remember the Trump voter guide? Well, Debbie Dooley from the Atlanta Tea Party has filed an ethics complaint and a lawsuit, or asking for a full investigation from the district attorney, not only the ethics commission. We're going to talk to her as soon as we come back from these messages. Stay tuned. Media looking for their Ross Perot. You want to stay for that.
Ace is your helpful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
The Tupelo Tea mission is to provide over 80 premium tea blends for tea lovers who are looking for ways to explore new flavors and blends. Come visit Tupelo Tea, located in beautiful downtown Blue Ridge at Sycamore Crossing. Be sure to sample our various varieties of honey and tea. Visit us on the web at tupelotea.com or call us at 706-946-TEAS. That's TEAS. Tupelo Tea, located in beautiful downtown Blue Ridge.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied